knowing that it was happening, and then having their image on the internet and not feeling safe with
So we have
that.
another comment here.
So, Mara, you're going to put together that fine-grained, kind of the nuance of the different levels of recording of the audience of whatever you see fit as a starting point, and then
I will
that'll...
send the statement that I put on, that I posted on the wall that's on the website.
But what's that statement entail? I apologize, I haven't read it.
Just the details.
Yeah, it just states where the videos are being posted, the website. It states that they are not edited. It states that they are records of meetings and of nothing else. It states that any stops are due to technical issues with the camera. We have to, it has to be stopped every 20 minutes or so because it's not a video camera, it's a camera. So it states details like that, and it states that there are other meetings that are also posted on, other public meetings that are posted on that website as well.
Does that meet what you're looking for, Roseanne?
Well, we need something to start with. So,
Well, I'll send that, and you know. it can
I
be-
mean,
So the other thing is that we had someone who with a really impressive professional audiovisual background offer to not personally donate equipment, but to, if this was something the NBHC wanted to drive, to give the NBHC access to high quality equipment and training and information about how to really ramp it up if we wanted to drive that. And that's the other piece, is if, I think the conversation needs to be had because there are people who feel passionately in both directions who would like to be part of the conversation, and they're not, because they're not in this room right now. And I'm not saying, I see Judith shaking her head, I'm not saying we should accept a donation. I have a lot of qualms about accepting donations of really expensive equipment, not least because we don't, storing it makes me nervous. But, you'll send what you have, we can massage it, and then this moves into Stephen's agenda topic about the agenda process, and what timeline that you would like that, and if that would be an appropriate use of the agenda planning committee's time to finesse that language into what Roseanne, since you have an idea of what you want for reasonable expectations,
well, I'm on that group.
I think that you would be really critical for that editing process, and I'm sorry, but that's the same night as Greater Duwamish District Council, so I can't be part of editing that at that meeting, but I think that having that happen at the agenda planning meeting would be very helpful.
So what's the goal of having for the next general meeting in February as a result of?
I don't know if we have enough time between now and the February meeting, or, I
I guess that's what we decide during the agenda
yeah,
meeting.
like if we're close enough to have something that we could put out for a vote. I mean, the other way to do it would just be to have a community member make a motion, but, no one's done that. And I think that it would behoove us to, because the people who would most likely call for it aren't there, but it would behoove us as a board, if there's going to be a vote, to have that language. It's a very parenting, positive parenting way to approach the situation. Let's have reasonable expectations, so what you walk out for. And then I think the greater conversation then comes between the two of you as the owners of the website, that if you choose to honor that vote or not, what this board can do to encourage you to do that. You have stated you've made that statement, and I think that can be the next conversation. If
I want to say something. I've been a member of this community for 17 years. I served on the Jefferson Park Planning Committee. I have a lot of responsibility for what happened over there. I am not a stranger or an untrustworthy person, and I think that you are using your personal animosity toward me to create dissension in this community. If it was anybody else doing this, I don't think there'd be a problem.
I'm really sorry you feel like that, Mark. I think the issue,
This is not productive.
that's not
It's not
productive.
what this meeting is for.
And it's not what the meeting's for, or what's
Okay, then stop
happening.
talking.
Yeah, so the, moving into the agenda planning piece, you talked about timeline. I think that goes into, can we get a report about the agenda planning process and the agenda planning committee?
I was just going to put up feelers. I know we had voted on that and pretty early on in this fiscal year to kind of spin that off, and I wanted to take the pulse if people thought that was still working, if we should fold that back in, if we should go to all electronic versus trying to meet in person, or kind of the hybrid we're doing now, which is some electronic and email, some in Trello, some in person. I just kind of wanted to take a temperature. Is that something that the board collectively wants the agenda committee to keep going as a sidebar? Is that outlived its usefulness? It's temperature check, that's all.
And how's Trello working for folks?
I mean,
It's good for organizing during the meeting, that's what
yeah, Lee and I use it, but my hope to get off the giant email chains didn't really, we just don't email anymore as a board. So we've gone from email communication to no communication. Which was not the goal of Trello.
So who's currently on the agenda planning committee?
Roseanne, Myra, Lee, myself, Chris.
Is that working for you guys?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's kind of a temperature check for the rest.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you think that's working?
I feel like it's working really well. I feel like we're getting really diverse agenda suggestions. I feel like the follow-up is going really well. But I feel really, I guess, I don't can't think of a better word, spoiled saying that, because it's like, well, I'm not doing that heavy lifting. So it's working for me because I'm not in the meeting or seeing the Trello board. So I think that the way the agenda is running is working really well for the council and for the speakers and for the membership. But if you guys are having trouble making the extra meeting work, I get it.
I just wanted to kind of more take temperature of the board at large, see if there are any thoughts on that. But
I feel like I haven't been part of it enough to know the frustrations that caused that plan to happen. And so, you know, on the face of it, if I were to look at 2 meetings per month, then the energy required to do that, it better be really salient what occurs there. But maybe it is, you know, and again, I think other people who have been longer in the process might be able to say, this is so much better. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear from people who have more history.
Having a FaceTime sitting in this room saves hours of emails.
yes,
Yeah, which is beneficial.
So it saves time.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah, it
long-
goes quickly.
And I would suggest that, and I'm sure this is something that you're already doing, but I would suggest that you be sure that the community's needs are being met. You know, whatever is hot in the community needs to be discussed.
And do you feel like it has been? It seems like they've been right on point the past.
Yeah, but I don't want us to forget the community. Just because we're a smaller group, or egregiously smaller group, I'm not.
And so part of the process is for them to come and talk about their agenda item, right? Or not?
I think
Or-
we're fine with that.
They can, if nobody shows up.
yeah, no one shows up, but I mean, even were we to get rid of that physical meeting, I still think having office hours is a virtue. And it's kind of doing double duty, even though no one takes it up, other than the first 2 agenda meetings. I still think there's virtue in having the time when the door is physically open.
I
But
agree with that.
to respond, the last couple meetings, it's only been board members.
I would really like, I've been meaning for years, to get a Beacon Hill Resource Center sign for the door. So it doesn't just say Beacon Hill Merchants, so there's something that says North Beacon Hill Council. And if you want, and office hours could be maybe just even a little 8.5 by 11 on the door that said North Beacon Hill Council meets here this date. We'd have to vet it with Angela, but I think that calling it office hours or considering it FaceTime with the community. Good night, Judith. Has huge value, and I really appreciate you guys making those meetings. And I feel like the diversity of the agendas has been great, and the quality of the agendas has been great. And I hope it feels like it must be mountains of work for you guys, and I'm glad to hear it hasn't been.
All right, we'll keep going.
So I had a question on a Tuesday, the next month's meeting, is 6:15 to 7, is that gonna be enough time?
For Central?
Yeah, or do you guys wanna start earlier? Because We don't have that room starting from 6:30, so I need to.
We do, but we can.
Oh,
We can
yeah.
bump it, and I think so I guess that's the other thing for the agenda planning meeting is, do we want to also, I suggest we add 15, 20 minutes on the regular council agenda for people that didn't make it to the open house. That's been how we've handled this open houses in the past, is there's been a big meaty chunk of time before the North Beacon Hill Council meeting, and then during the North Beacon Hill Council meeting, there's been a sliver of time for folks that couldn't make it or that wanted that last little bit of, so I think, well, Kate seemed to think
Yeah,
that
I think she was fine with that.
that 30, 40
15
minutes
minutes.
was enough.
And so Kate, can she write a little verbiage on, so I can put it in an email, like, on the agenda, like how to,
Like what that's gonna be about.
yeah, what's gonna be about, who's gonna be people there.
Open
Should we
house.
kinda- Yeah, if we
Get
could
the-
put it on our website, on our agenda.
It would be great to get the foreman or whatever you call
Yeah,
him, get his
the, GC.
construction, yeah,
those
to get
people.
his email address on the agenda, or and phone number. I can't believe you guys are breaking ground, that's unreal.
So a blurb on the purpose and then the.
Yeah, yeah, who's gonna be there,
Okay.
kind of meet and greet, if she could kind of write something
Sure.
up, and then.
How much food will be?
Yeah, well, there can't be food at this one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But the, speaking of just
Wednesday, 21st.
doing housekeeping stuff, Ruth from the library reminded me that
So maybe we can work on this.
it's not a lease, but whatever it is, that for the meeting room, our agreement to use the
Yeah.
meeting room, I just filled out a new one and reserved the dates for February, March, and April.
Oh, okay, good.
So, and I did it from 6:30 to 9.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we could, if we, Amy's very diligent about communicating with the library, we did it before 6:30. We should probably do that, not assume that there's,
Okay. I'll let you know that.
thank you. See, the whiteboard is clean.
That means the agenda has been achieved.
Excellent.
I'll move to adjourn.
A second.